Hi, I'm halfway through covering my, well, probably more than halfway through actually, covering my Piper Cub J3, and I thought I would do a quick review of the material that I'm using to cover it. It's a heat shrink iron-on covering. It's one of two that come from the World Models and is sold by the World Models in Hong Kong. It's called Lightex, Ligtex, and the other one that they do is called Teflon. I've done a review of this already, and if you look in the description below you'll find a link to that. Lightex is the lighter of the two coverings, as you'd expect. Teflon is actually quite tough. So the Lightex, it comes in 800mm rolls, and those rolls are 2 meters long, and the weight of it is, here on the description it says 5.8 grams per square foot, mixing their units, or 0.2 ounces per square foot. And they're saying that the application temperature is 58 to 93 degrees C or 136 to 200 Fahrenheit. We'll get to that temperature in a minute. As I say, I've actually covered the wings this morning, and I'm really pleased with how this has gone on. It stretches really nice. It shrinks good. When I first put these sheets on, I used a hot air gun where there was just a few creases that I was worried if I used my iron I would actually iron a crease in, and it went on lovely. I was really pleased with it. It is, even though it's an opaque film, it is slightly see-through, and you can see the woodwork through that. So you can see here I've got a hardwood insert on the Balsa. You can see the colour difference there. I mean, they do say the covering will cover up pencil lines, ink marks and things like that. That's not strictly true. It probably depends on the colour. This being yellow, quite a light colour, it probably shows more imperfections than others. And I'll just show you here. I don't know whether you can see, possibly not. There's some light pencil lines here that I left in where I've marked out the hinge locations, and I should have rubbed them out and I didn't, and you can just very faintly see that through there. It's not something that bothers me, but it's certainly something to be aware of. I suspect on the darker colours, you know, dark blues, blacks, dark reds, you wouldn't see that at all. The film has got a paper backing, which, unlike some films, comes off quite readily. Some films, and I think with the Teflon I had to use tape, a bit of tape either side to peel it, but this just comes off really easily. As I say, it stretches really nice around the corners, and I was really pleased with the way these corners went on. You'll notice this is still a bit baggy here. This is nice and taut. I've left that baggy because when I do the top side, I'm going to be lapping round and just doing a seam around there. If I tighten that up now, I'm fairly sure it's only got hold on that very narrow edge, it'll pull off. So that's not a problem with the film. That's just the way where I've got to at the moment with the covering. But I never look forward to doing these wingtips, but I'm quite confident tomorrow that I'm hopefully confident tomorrow that getting it round here will be quite nice, because it does stretch quite well. And where I have on the fuselage done cuts to get it round corners, it's because it's quite thin, it stretches over each other and doesn't leave a big seam, so that's quite nice. On the turn this back over. On the application temperature, which I said earlier, oh, by the way, I will leave a link to this data sheet if I can, in the link below, in the description below, I believe I can. I think there's one online I can link to. The temperatures, they're saying, you know, as I said, 58 to 93 degrees C, and they say never go over 110. Well, with my iron, I found the best temperature was about 105, and I probably went up to about 110 when I was shrinking it. Now, I have no idea whether my iron is correctly indicating the temperature. It may not be, but I think it doesn't really matter. It's just a guide of the temperature on this leaflet, and I think anybody who's covering a model should be testing with a sample and you know, making up a frame and ironing it on and just seeing how it works and how it shrinks. And I'm sure, you know, anybody listening to this, you know, will understand that. You know, so you do learn very, very quickly, you know, and start off with a slightly lower temperature and warm it up as you need to get the results you want. Like I said, I'm very pleased with this. It's 5.8 grams per square foot. The Teflon is 7.7, and just in comparison, the Teflon was a nice coating, but it was quite hard on those corners, on those radiuses, whereas this is just lovely. It was so much easier. It was a joy to use, and I'm definitely going to be using this again. Like I say, with a slightly darker one, it probably won't show the ribs coming through. It'll probably be a bit more opaque. So I think that's probably as much as I can say on this. Oh, I obviously have no idea how fuel proof this is. They do say good resistance to nitro fuel and gas fuel. Shrinks taut and stays long time indoors and outdoors. I can't judge that. I've only just bought it, I've only just used it. What I probably will do is a follow-up review to this in 6 months, 12 months, when I've been using this for a while. This is going to be a glow model, so it will get a lot of fuel on it, or fuel residue, castor oil and synthetic oil. The Teflon that I used is this plane hanging up behind me, Piper Cherokee, and that is wholly electric. So it's not possible to comment on that and how the fuels affected it. But I will come back and do another review and let you know how it stood up the test of time, both with whether it stays taut and the effects of the fuel. But I think that's all I've got to say, really. It's a nice product. It's a very reasonable price from Hong Kong. Lots of different colours, a big range of colours available, and at a very reasonable price. And this is one covering film that I'm definitely going to be using again. It sticks really well. I don't know whether I actually said that. So, thanks for watching, and try it out and see what you think.